Alright, welcome to another Shinobi collection video, and birthday Madara is finally here. So in the beginning of the month we got the new GK Madara, which was a pretty good unit to be honest. And now, for the second Madara of the month, we're getting the Kizuna, Madara, and Obito. Originally, I thought it would be a Madara and Hashirama Kizuna. But then they released that new Madara, who I didn't make a video for sadly, but that Madara is not Madara, that Hashirama, I'm sorry, it's actually pretty garbage. It's because they didn't make his brandish state, which makes him very unique and fun character. They didn't make that into a unique state, they kept it as a god state. It didn't make any sense since god state is very useless. Well, any state other than unique state are very useless at this point. But with that, let's go over this new Madara. So it's a Kizuna unit, and from what you can see already, it's a Madara and Obito. So they're both none, but they do like a nun team, but they also buff Uchihas, which is why if you look at my sample team, it's pretty much all none except for the Enbu, Shisui, and Itachi, who buffs Uchiha, and that's amazing because this Madara is an Uchiha. But the thing is, I don't know if it's gonna consider these two Uchihas. It might. Just because these buff Uchihas. I haven't really tested them out because I haven't been pulling that much. But with that, let's go over this Madara skit. So his S1 deals 3% plus 2 million to all enemies. That's pretty average, since that's what everyone does now. The 2 million, which is good enough. That inflicts Genjutsu and Despair state, that's a special state. Deals 7 additional attacks. Deals 3% plus 790,000. That's 7 additional attack. I want to say is the average amount of what a unit should do. It is not 7 is pretty good, but anything below 7 I want to say is iffy for damage wise. 7 is probably your standard. If you do more than 7, you're good. If you do more than 10, you're amazing. But 7, that's acceptable. That's a lot of damage, especially in the damage limit unit. And high chance to inflict pale, violent, unique state. We'll go over all of these states later on after we go over his kit. His skill 2. Deal 2 million fixed damage to all enemies. Inflict disable positive special and god state effect. 1 turn speed plus 1,200% to all allies. This skill is probably not something you want to cast a lot, but that's a big speed boost. And then disabling their special and god state is good, but you don't need that since Pale Violent already does that. And then their Kizuna skill is deal 3% plus 3 million penetration damage to all enemies. Inflict the Sky Destruction unique state. And then you have the high chance to ignore, withstand, revive, immortality, which is very common. I think all Kizuna has that except for maybe the older ones. Then his lead, World Marauder. All characters speed plus 200%. When an Uchiha or non-allies are attacked, you remove debuff and status effect and high chance to grant insta-kill immunity. Pretty solid, which means anytime you get attacked, you just cleanse. So you can't go wrong with that. And the insta-kill immunity, I want to say, is 100% necessary if you want to be a lead. If you're not running an insta-kill lead, don't use that as a lead. That's why characters like V11 Naruto, in my opinion, I would not run him as a lead anymore. The first strike is amazing, but pretty much every character that has come out has already a built-in first strike. And Naruto doesn't have insta-kill immunity. It means you're just gonna die. If you don't have insta-kill immunity, there's no point. Because insta-kill is the only thing that counters damage limit. That's why that being in your lead is very important. Then ability 1. The Legendary Uchiha. Madara is a Legendary Uchiha. Grant the End of Reality unique state to all allies at the start of battle. Inflict Pale Violent unique state when rotating. High chance to grant instant action to Uchiha's allies upon action, and then speed plus 200%. The End of Reality unique state, that has a 4 turn count. So after 4 turns, you want to switch to Obito because Obito is the one who gives that. but if that's still up, you want to stay as Madara the entire time. And then ability 2, Harboring Hashirama Cell. High chance to grant first strike, just what I was talking about earlier. Grant formation immunity. Really strong for those if the enemy somehow overrides your formation. And then when attack, grant instant action. Very normal. Insta kill immunity built in. Damage limit is set to 700,000 built in. Let me move this a little bit over here. Revive plus 4. That's a lot higher than the normal for Enbus and what you call them, Kizunas. Usually it's 3. 4 is very nice. Nani Cause God and GK have an average of 5. So this is in between. This is pretty solid. Then chance to inflict pale violet unique state to the attacker when attacked. That is gonna be very, very toxic when you're fighting him. Is the pale violet. We'll go over what the pale violet does, but let's just say that's probably the best unique debuff in the game. Unique state debuff in the game. Better than Pain, better than Amaterasu. But is it Amaterasu? I don't remember which one Shisui and Itachi has, but it's better than that. Ability 3, yellow and white type specialization. Pretty solid. And then let's go over their states. Move these over. You can look at their base stats right here. He has a 445,000 HP, 363,000 attack, 136,000 defense, and 559. Thing with that is, this is his PvP stats. There's a big outlier in here. 13 million HP is below average of a max LP unit, but that doesn't matter because that's higher than normal units if you have him LP 0, and you get pretty much a free 2.4 million HP because the first Kizuna boards is you can get that very easy without any dupes, but the last one you need 4 green ores, which is a lot, and the only way you can get green ores is by paying for it. And I think ranking rewards gives the dupe stone but not the ores, and you want to keep that dupe stone because some of the stuff that you unlock with in the Kizuna boards need a dupe stone and not a unit dupe. It's weird like that, but it's very good. Then his attacks hasn't mattered, but it actually might. I'll talk about why. Defense is okay. Speed. His speed is 22,240. An average unit that has a really good speed is about 4,000. And a normal unit has about 2,000 speed. If you can break the 2,000 speed mark, you're really fast. If you can break 4,000, you're stupid fast. He has 22,000. I don't know what 22,000 looks like, but 22,000 is fast. And at the end, that 22,000 is kind of funny because that's a lot. But we have units in the game that sets your speed limit to 1,000, and this unit does it as well. So let's go over what his states does. His special state, which is a debuff, is Despair. Despair is a pretty normal state, but if you can keep this somehow, I don't know how you can keep this, it's pretty solid. So you just remove their buffs and then you can cancel them per turn. And then their unique state, let's start with the Pale Violet. High chance to disable skills, and Madara and Obito deals 2 times damage to them. The thing with this 2 times damage is that it doesn't say it's limited to Madara and Obito Kizuna the way Kizuna and Kakashi and Obito does. Kizuna, Kakashi, and Obito specifically says that to deal 2 times damage, it has to be from that Kizuna. But this unit doesn't say that. All it says is Madara and Obito deals 2 times damage, which means this Obito, can't see it over here, which means if we go back to the team, this Obito over here might do 2 times damage. Madara for sure will do 2 times damage. He might do 2 times damage, and he'll probably do 2 times damage. So that's what that might mean. Very, very good. And let's go down here. HP minus 35% per turn. Really good, especially for damage limit. HP reduction per turn ignores that completely. So you'll get to their HP to 0 faster than what you normally would with an attack. Disable positive special in God State. Really, really good. So the reason why this is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, negative unique state is because, first of all, high chance to disable skills. What's better than cast speed -5? They can't act. So if they can't act, that's strong because cast speed -5 doesn't matter because End of Reality sets their cast speed to flash. So now if you get hit by Pain, you get hit by Shisui and Itachi, you get hit by Kizuna Obito V1, that negative of cast speed reduction will never matter because of End of Reality. Always will be flash. So since now that doesn't matter, high chances to disable skill will matter. So now they can't move. And the reason why this is stupid is because you inflict this when you touch him. So if you're inflicted with Pale Violent, there's a chance you're standing there. And if it's a Kizuna Madara versus Kizuna Madara matchup, that might be the most boring match because no one's taking a turn. But at least you're doing 2 times damage. Oh wait, that doesn't matter because of damage limit. HP -35% per turn. That's amazing. Disable positive and special in God State. Omni debuffer, whatever we want to call that. Omni disabeller. Really good. So this is also why Hashirama sucks. God State will just not even proc. So what does Hashirama bring? He brings nothing. And then let's go to his End of Reality, which is probably the best positive special, positive unique state. I don't know why I said special, but he has the best negative unique and the best positive unique. So what this does, grant instant action to Uchihas and none per turn or when attacked. Just why? That's really, really good. So everyone's just casually taking an action. So if you want to build his team, you either want to build Uchihas or none, or combined, which is fine, since most none are Uchihas anyway. And then speed plus 1000%, because why not? That's the reason why he can go up to 22,000. So he has 2,200% buff to all the allies. That's the most you can have in the game so far. So everyone can reach 22,000 speed. So that's insane. Cast speed is set to flash. We'll talk about that's good. Damage limit is set to 700,000. That alone. That effect is the reason why the meta changed them. The most game-breaking unit in this game to break the meta is Kizuna Kakashi with the damage limit is set to 700,000. Now you can replace Kizuna Kakashi with Madara. So at the moment, the teams now is that teams don't matter. You can run a full Uchiha and none teams, or you can slap him in a Konoha team and it will work. And then with that, debuff and status effect immunity. Sadly, this is not disabled, it's only immunity. But there's a lot of units nowadays that doesn't ignore resistance when they inflict their status effect. So that's really good. Disable illusion, negative special in God State, Omni protection. Amazing. Sky destruction. This should be red, by the way. This is a debuff. This unique state is, again, I said this is the best. This is probably the second best. I want to say this is the second best because you need to hit your Kizuna skills to inflict this. But there are 9 stage Kizuna, which already means if you have them rainbow and this unlock, this is the most game breaking one. Just because, like, it's unbelievable how strong this is compared to Pale Violent. But Pale Violent is already super strong and easily accessible. That's why I rank Pale Violent 1. Sky Destruction and power wise is 1. But just because it's locked behind this Kizuna skill, I'm going to put it at 2. Because you might not see it every game. So what it does, insta-kill non-Uchihas. Insta-kill immunity, 100% a must. The thing with insta-kill immunity is, they're always limited or a chance. So there's a chance that this just insta-kills them even if they have insta-kill immunity. Which is really good. There's an enemy inflicted with Sky Destruction, grant immortality to enemy Madara and Obito. The only way to kill them while this is up is another Kizuna skills. Set HP to 1 per turn. If you thought my HP minus 35% is OP, this is OP. Set attack, defense, and speed limit to 1000. This is a way to counter yourself. Madara counters himself. which is amazing. So if you can hit the Kizuna skill, you win. But if you don't hit it because you ended too early, Pale Violent is already strong. So Pale Violent is a weaker version of Sky Destruction, but more accessible. So you'll see Pale Violent a lot more than Sky Destruction. Sky Destruction is already super strong. And then his gears. Entrusting the Ideal Illusion. Skill damage plus 150%, cast speed plus 2. High chance to grant an extra turn, that's the best part of this skill. Chance to skip all enemies when using attack. Why? Just because. Let's give him a skip, just because we can. The Despair that crushes reality. All stats plus 50%, chakra cost minus 50%, chance to grant speed plus 1000% when attacked. Which means speed is 3,400%. That's why he hits 22,000. It's insane. I gave him a rank 100 because I think he's the best character in the game. And this is what I believe his role is. So he's an Omni Protector, Omni Debuffer. There's no one unit in this game that gives both of this. The only one I want to say that might count is Kizuna Obito V1. But Kizuna Obito V1 is not as strong as this unit. Counter Debuffer. You hit him, you inflict with Pale Violent. Damage Limiter, probably the best thing. And then everything else. So what doesn't he do? He doesn't heal. And then that's it. And then his partner is an Obito. So that is Madara. Madara is the best character in the game. But this is a 2-for-1 unit. It means the other Kizuna Obito. Go over what Kizuna Obito does. So you're gonna want to rotate to Obito because Obito is the one that grants the End of Reality. End of Reality is the best positive unique state. So Obito's not that useless, even though most Obitos in the game are useless, especially that new god, the single target, who releases single target unit in 2020. Doesn't make sense. So let's go over what it does. 3% plus 2 million, similar Genjutsu and Overpower state. This one deals 5 additional attacks instead of 7. So it's 2 less, but that's okay, because you inflict the Disable Positive Special and God State effect. Really, this S1 is what you want. There's nothing wrong with this S1. This is your Disabler S1, and it works every single time. There's nothing wrong with it. His S2 deal 2 million fixed damage to all enemies, deal 7 additional attacks, grants the End of Reality unique state to all allies. So this S2 just means you can buff without wasting a turn. Really good. This S2 is one of the best skill in the game. Then his lead. Uchiha, all characters. So the same thing with the top one. Speed plus 100% to everyone. Cast speed plus 3 to Uchihas and none. A chance to grant instant immunity. A little worse, since you don't need the cast speed plus 3 since you End of Reality sets it to Flash. I believe. Let me double check that actually. Because I got that wrong with the other Madara, where instead of saying Flash, it actually said Recast. Let me make sure it actually says Flash, because I don't want to be wrong for this. And this one says, I believe, Flash. Yeah, that's a Flash. Okay, just double checking. Make sure I don't get it wrong like the other Madara, because the other Madara double cast, which is really strong. So go over back to this. So at the start of battle and when you rotate to him, you grant End of Reality, really strong. And then you inflict the Disable Positive Special and God State effect when first selecting your action, which means when you S2, you also disable the Positive Special and God State. 2-for-1, really strong. Grant instant action to all Uchihas upon withstanding, very strong. Speed plus 100%, we already saw that. His ability 2 is pretty much the exact same thing. That's 700,000, I forgot to remove that. But the only thing different is he doesn't have a built-in damage limit, but instead he removes negative special and God State per turn. So if you don't have End of Reality, you're still removing that stuff. And then blue and black is his specialization. His state are the same except for one, which is Overpower. So instead of removing, this is speed minus 300% and cast 1. It don't matter. His stats is a little wrong, because I didn't add in the 2,000 speed that he gets, so which means his speed is probably in the 18,000 range instead of 22,000. So same gear. And then the difference is, for his role, is that he's still Omni Protector. He's a state disabler now instead of it being Omni, because you can remove it, because he doesn't inflict Pale Violent, unlike Madara, sadly. He's a DPS, he deals higher damage, since his S1 is 5, his S2 is 7. Madara is only 7, so if you use your S2, you're not really doing damage. That doesn't matter. He's a turn manipulator. When he dies, well, they're both turn manipulator, but Obito's has a little bit more, so when he dies, he also manipulates that. And then he's a per turn cleanser, which is never really bad. So I gave him a 99 just because Obito's a little worse than Madara. But Obito still has End of Reality. You can never go wrong with End of Reality. End of Reality is probably the best positive special. Best positive unique. I keep saying special. And then they have 6 gear slots. I already talked about their Kizuna boards. If you have them max, which means you get their Kizuna skill off very, very fast in the game, it's GG. The last Kizuna we got was Kizuna Naruto, and compared to Kizuna Naruto, characters are so much better. Kizuna Naruto looks really weak compared to these characters. Naruto might do more damage, but that doesn't matter if the enemies can't move. Who cares about damage limit when you're setting their HP to 1? So in the end, would you summon for this character? And that is the easiest yes. Character is game breaking. They don't change the game as much as Kizuna Kakashi, because they do similar to Kizuna Kakashi, but just better. If you have Kizuna Kakashi, you might not need to summon for Madara. You can just go Kizuna Kakashi, switch to Obito, and you'll be fine. But if you don't have Kizuna Kakashi like me, 100% summon for Madara. I did, and I got him, and it's game changing. If you're running a team that doesn't have a damage limit in 2021, December of 2021, if you don't run a damage limit, you will get one shot by everything in the game, because everyone does like 90 million damage. The damage limit actually saves you from getting one shot, but it also prolongs fight. The fights now are extremely long, because there's 25 million HP. What do you do with 25 million when damage is limited to 700,000? And they deal with it. 35% per turn, set it to 1. Easily the best character in the game. It's not even close on who's second. The second is probably Chisuke and Itachi at this point, just because they're Uchiha buffers. But the thing is, if I look over here, let's go look at their team real quick before we end this video. Madara does everything they do. Everything. Like, they got the debuff. They got the damage limit from Kizuna, Obito, and Kakashi. He does penetrating damage. Kizuna's skill does penetration damage. They do their normal debuff. They also do the debuff, the disable stuff. Madara sets HP to 1. They set HP to 1. So this Madara literally does everything in his team. So the best team you can run with Madara is just Madara. And then whoever you want, because he'll do everything that you need. He's probably the single best single carry in this game. The only thing he's missing is insta-kill. That's it. If they gave him insta-kill, it'll be GG. But they didn't give him insta-kill. But his HP set to 1 is pretty much kill anyway. And I have my database in the back. I'm just double checking Madara, if Madara gave insta. I forget who gave insta-kill. Madara might be giving it. But it don't really matter. Why do you need to insta-kill when you just setting their HP to 1? Plus, if you hit them with the Kizuna skill when they're HP to 1, you ignore everything. They're the best character in the game. Don't be afraid. Summon. If you have 1,000 gems, use 1,000 gems. They're 100% worth it. With that, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.